not a big deal. We can handle it. I don't have to think about it. What we need to do is clear. Don't you think? I don't know any other answer than yeah, and I don't need to know. Now it's your turn. Cat got your tongue. I'm for this one Bark and bark, it's a vacant dirt. Your regret that no one knows. Bark and bark, keep going, that's the last sound you ever hear. The kiss of death. I'm sorry about that. You thought it through. I don't have to think about it. Out there, those who believe. What about you? When I'm older, do I do anything? I want to keep it that way. Now it's your turn. Could got your time. I'm for this water Bark and a bark is the vacant dirt. Your regret that no one knows. Bark and a bark, keep going, that's the last sound you ever hear. The kiss of death.
Of course, ow. Of course, I actually just fumbled that. Alright. Hey, what's going on? Hold on, I'm still also trying to figure out some like sound things. So if anyone's got like some does the sound good? Everything good? It's been and this is kind of weird because I'm doing a lot of things. I'll tell you right now. checking whatnot. Alright, so. Alright, so here's the thing. First off, I'm literally slapdashing this together primarily because, one, because I want to, and two, I wanted to try YouTube. I wanted to try like YouTube streaming for a minute, and I thought, why not do it here, as well as also kind of like try out another like streaming system, primarily because I've been really kind of just like. Okay, so the real thing is like, I wanted to try out and get back to Streamlabs completely. In fact, let me just switch over to just chatting. Oh, I forgot to turn on my camera. Okay, so first off, man, this thing. So that's the whole thing, right? The whole thing was pretty much just like, I want to actually like retest out like Streamlabs. Like I can probably go to. Right here. I want to try out Streamlabs again, get back on it, and move on. So that's the whole point, right? That's one thing. And then the second thing is straight up, I was like, I've tried OBS, because I got off Streamlabs because of the whole OBS is, not really into doing, the whole controversy with Streamlabs and whatnot back in the time. So I was like, yeah, I want to kind of like not do that right now, and then, not do it. But then, upon realizing that Streamlabs just does so much stuff that is just so much better, and frankly, it's like, I cannot for life of me actually work OBS. I've tried it for like a good, but almost a whole year now, and it just ain't working. So I'm just like, you know what, screw it. Go back to Streamlabs for a little bit, see how it does, and go from there. That's pretty much the whole thing. So, yeah, I have just barely set it up. I haven't really done much of anything. Is something going on? Oh, okay. I was like, so I'm like still trying to get values and everything working. It's been so long. So I apologize that the first stream we're gonna do on YouTube is the most scuffed thing in existence. But hey, you know what? It's better than nothing. And already I prefer Streamlabs over like trying to do it OBS right now. So that's already one thing. So I guess the question is, what do we do? Because we got an hour, and they have not actually like dropped the actual like line of what the actual like preview, not preview. I'm sorry. It's like almost 10:30 here. Like, bruh, I'm just like, why do you not have the premiere up? That's what it is, the premiere. Why do you not have the premiere up already? Like, this is supposed to be the summer conference for a lot of your games and a lot of like the stuff you're making for the English side, and we are 30 minutes away, less than 30 minutes away, and it's not up. Also, I have that same criticism because in the anime like premiere isn't even up either. So it's like, did you not like load that in at all? Oh shoot, that person? Oh no, it's just okay. Yeah, I'm just tripping. So it's like, what are you doing? What exactly are y'all doing? So yeah, I'm just kinda like, I'm just waiting, sitting here, just kinda waiting till the actual episode drops. I mean, not episode, the premiere like drops, which I don't think is gonna drop until like the final like 10 minutes. Wait there. So anyway, how y'all doing, guys? Firstly, because I'm also testing, I've currently made it so that only like people who have subscribed to the channel can talk. Probably won't do that for like later streams. Probably not for the one I'm doing on Saturday for Will Dress. Okay. Yeah, for the one for the Will Dress anime review, we'll probably just do that. I might just switch it back to Twitch too. I don't know either. But I don't know. I'm still figuring things out, okay? So we're just kind of gonna have to bear with me. So, I do know that we got I might just actually, let me see what the settings are. Let's make say on the top. I think that's better. Let's see how that does. Though, if some BS happens, immediately I'm turning back on subscribers only. I'm just letting you know. Close this. Let me put on like something while I take care of stuff. So, oh, I know what we can do. We can do something crazy. We can like look at Psalm's like State of Vanguard video real quick. So, let me take care of something real quick. Turn off the music, and then yeah, let's go in. I've watched this, so I watched the video already before, but I haven't like actually like given my thoughts on it pretty much.
How is Cardfight Vanguard doing right now? As you know, once in a while I do a current state of Vanguard video, and this is the one for
actually, before go on. Can I hear it? Yeah, so let me turn off. Okay, let me actually hear how the sound is. What the? Okay, we're good. Okay, we're actually good. We're good. We're actually good. We're fine. Again, still trying to figure this out. We're doing it live for a reason, okay? So.
Right now. With that being said, this video is somewhat sponsored by My Hero Academia.
Bro, how you gonna do a State of Vanguard and immediately be like, oh, by the way, I'm sponsored by a whole different trading card game.
They didn't pay me. They just were like, "Oh, we can send you some of this product." And personally, I really love the anime.
It's just kind of funny to me.
I'll be unboxing these pretty cool cards. So for the current State of Vanguard, you know, I usually go by like different formats, the anime tournaments and so forth. So I'll try to stick to somewhat of a schedule. But as you know, this is always just unscripted and raw. So let's start with standard. First of all, I played this Springfest, and I played a lot more standard than last Springfest. Last Springfest, I only entered one overdress format. We got third place for that one, which was cool, you know. But I didn't really play much overdress beyond that, so I couldn't really form much of an opinion. I really liked Gravidia, but that was basically the extent of me playing overdress that season. This season, we played a little more overdress. And yes, we did also top. So I figured I can give you a pretty informed opinion, at least from the competitive aspect. In my opinion, this season of standard sucked ass. Chronojet was the best deck by a million miles. I know Chris Chris and other Eva stands might be coping hard, but Eva did not stand a chance whenever Jet would just mid-roll and they would mid-roll. Like, the decks were just not the same. If Jet got really unlucky and Eva got lucky, sure, they could win, and the Brandgate OT can randomly win out of nowhere. But on equal footing, Jet would always beat the living fuck out of Eva. Now, in Eva's defense, Eva was the closest in power level to Jet, because every other deck was 2,000 miles below Jet. So yes, this season
let me finish this one
was awful. But I will come to Overdress's general defense here and will say that was just this season. From what I'm seeing so far, Jet is no longer as much of a ridiculous threat as it was this season. Like Gandiva is coming up, Willista is coming up, a new set I'm seeing like Hexa Orb being scary, Minerva getting scary. There's a lot of other decks now catching up. So Jet being this essentially tier 0 menace is over. I do think...
Yeah, so about what Psalm's saying, like, he's correct. It's like pretty much like not having a single thing on the ban list this past time before was just it was okay because we just barely gotten the stuff and everything, so it's like hitting things now preemptively, even if it there could just like ruin sales or whatnot or have some caveat effect to it. That's just how things are gonna be. So yeah, it's kind of like this one was kind of like a format of I won't say kind of like a lame duck format, but more so like we all knew like pretty much Jet was going to be the best deck. It's just the whole thing, and it really was. There's nothing else really to say. Yeah, I don't know what else I could say about that. It's like Jet was easily the best deck. Eva was second because Eva has just a lot of good defensive things. And we were how long ago was it from like reveals? I mean, not reveals, but like set release. That was terrible. Yeah, what release dates? I think I have like product release dates. In terms of like actual content, we had June 9th. Yeah, let me move this over here. So like we have in terms of actual release, Vanguard had make sure everything's good. In terms of like releases, we're gonna move over. This doesn't count. Oh yeah, these did have October and then 11, but like back push up. So we had December 16th. Then we waited till February for Minerva. Then Jet released 2 weeks later. Yeah, 2 weeks later. Then March. And then here we are at June 9th. Yeah, so it's like from March pretty much to June, we pretty much had the same format. That's just what it was. We pretty much just had the whole same format. And the clutch set doesn't count because it's like everything but like this. And Messiah's too late. Messiah's just too late to be used. So everything. So any like support that could have like changed the format wasn't there. Right? Gandiva wasn't here. All the other decks that got buffs. Right? People just weren't able to play. So it's kind of like, yeah, there was no, like, it was a lame, for lack of a term, it was a format that didn't really change all that much.
I think, however,
For standard,
that
at least.
Swirler should have probably been choice restricted together with Gungram and together with GG from the very start. I think if people protected Overdress a little less at the start, so we could go like, hey, maybe Overdress has an issue, let's fix it before the season, that would have been more interesting. With that being said, because it's teams, you had automatic force to divert.
Yeah. I don't know if the choice with GG, Gungan Ram, and Swirler is necessary. Probably. I don't know. But I definitely agree, like, I mean, I get why they didn't do it because, you know, it's still too early. The set basically barely dropped by the time the list came out. Just preemptively hitting stuff isn't exactly like the best thing you can do. So, you know, I understand completely them being like, yeah, we can wait on it. We can wait on that. So that's fine. As for, you know,
So the real issue wasn't as obvious. If this season had been singles, I think we would have had a lot of riots. But again, coming to Overdress Defense here, I am super excited for Festival Collection. I actually really like that set. Not necessarily because of the archetype cards, but actually because of the orders. And even, and I'm crazy for saying this, even the over triggers. Now, whoa. Before we start fighting, I still hate over triggers and they should still all be banned. But what I do like is that they are introducing different effects, so there's actually a choice to be made. You might actually want to go, oh, does this deck want this over trigger, or this over trigger, or this over trigger? There's actually meaning.
what? Okay, quick thing before we go there. What do you mean Ninjala had a 75 episode anime? What? That can't be real. Hold on. What? $75. One, you had an anime 275 episodes. Okay, you know, let's get back to the track. I'm just kind of shocked with that one.
The whole mechanic is still broken. It still ruins games consistently, but at least there's a little player agency in picking which one you run, which is better than just having one. But of course, in an ideal scenario, we just nuke the whole mechanic and just admit that it was a mistake. But of course,
yeah, I mean, over trigger, you know, beating over the head aside, yeah, having more options is always good in a card game. Like, you don't always want to be like just like slamming the same thing down over and over again. It's just not gonna, you know, just not great. So Festival Collection and History Collection are gonna be really important in the coming months for like the format of the game and the state of the game, because really it's like we're now actually in a section of like, yeah, we're gonna get products and content like back to back pretty soon, and not in a way that's gonna be like how crazy like late G was or anything like that, but it's more so like we're gonna have a stream of like new cards and gameplay that we can test out and finally get our hands on. Like that's really cool, and having those new Regalis pieces is fantastic. And the over triggers, regardless of what you think of them.
These cards are so cool. Not just for premium, where of course I find them the coolest, but something I found Overdress severely lacking. Throughout the year so far, Overdress has felt like, wow, different over triggers, sadly, or the different Regalis pieces. The more we get stuff like this, the more excited I can be for Overdress personally. So cool Regalis pieces, awesome, I love it. I hope they keep making more of these. Of course, not actually broken ones. I don't want to be forced to always play the same one, but just different powerful cool options is awesome. Now, something I'm a little more meh about is the collabs. Personally, I don't care for them. I don't care for the insect bug thing. I don't know if English is getting them. I don't care for token Ranbu reveals. I don't care for anything like that. I like my Vanguard cards to be Vanguard cards, especially when we don't even know if we're getting it in English, and if we are getting them in English, now it's like, cool, another release being kind of like postponed to make room for this set that I really don't care about, that might not get support in the future. And it's just like, I don't know, the branding is all over the place. I understand why they do it. Again, in Japan, it's also a really big thing, being able to get people from other franchises into your game. It's all fine and dandy. I get it. It's just not for me. One little detail that I'm very excited about is we saw this really strong Stoicheia order being a
Okay. Before we continue. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, in terms of collabs, like, at the end of the day, you're gonna feel what you feel about collabs. What was this actually part of? But, you know, at the end of the day, you're always gonna feel what you feel about collabs, so that's not gonna be anything different. I completely understand. It's like, yeah, you know, if you feel... What is that? Oh, I'm blind. You know, you're always gonna have your own opinions on what triggers are, you know, not triggers, but like collabs are gonna be. I think the way they have decided to start doing them now is much more effective because token round. Because like first things first is like token round was pretty much like grandfathered, and I just say straight up like it is the unofficial 25th clan of Cardfight Vanguard. I think everyone kind of just like thinks Token Rambu when they see it. I think it's just kind of funny because like Token Rambu is in like this weird state of its first wave is always terrible, but its second wave is strong enough to be competitively viable. Like it's just insane to me how every time they release Token Rambu the first time, you just know, yeah, I probably should skip this. Like it's happened twice. If I had a nickel for every time it's happened twice, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it's happened twice. Like the meme is correct here, that's straight up. So it's like, why? I get, it's there. So Token Ram was there, but we've also had like some really, really weird things. I will say the Shaman King one was like an exception because they were so behind, like. Putting both of them in one set is great, so you don't need to buy like double the cards directly, or like they like bomb completely. Record of Ragnarok was just a tragedy. It was supposed to be a worldwide release, simultaneous release, got pushed back in English, and it was terribly like handled in terms of like quality assurance, and the cards were bad. Like, I think Thor was, like, the only, like, viable deck out of that for competitive. So that was the thing. And then Monster Strike became a hot mess. I mean, Monster Strike was okay for set 1. And then set 2 literally is I struggle to call probably one of the best, like, investments you've ever done. If you bought Ebisu in Japan, you literally have never bought a single card ever again. I don't believe you when you say you've played anything else. Even when you've been hit twice, like you're effectively tier element, which is crazy. But like with the way Japan and English have worked, it's like it's hard to really be like, oh, we know exactly that this is gonna come over, so we have to be prepared for it, or this isn't gonna come over until like we actually get the conference, which we should be getting in like 15 minutes. I don't know where the heck it is. So that's one thing. On that topic, I don't think, I feel like now eventually we'll get more on track. I think if it's I like how they've done. What was I trying to say? I like how they've done collabs recently, which is Quince. I don't care for Quince personally. I've never really been willing to like watch it or whatever, right? I know people who love it. That's fine for them. If you like Quince, it's fine. But I liked how they're handling it because let's be honest here, in a series like Quince where there's only really like 5 characters that really matter, there's only you can't really put out a whole set of characters. Right? Because it's like all the time they're just going to be basically just the same cards anyway. The same cards and units and whatnot anyway. So you can't really do a quintuplets whole thing. So having them be like extra cards in a booster, that seems pretty cool to me. Now, how easy they'll be get or like any like higher rarity versions of them is another question. But, that sort of thing. I also like the working with artists and artwork and putting those in for, like, reprints. That was such a great thing. I hope we get that announcement coming into, like, DBT 11 as well. That'd be great, too. So, basically, I am... Hold on, let me get subscriptions. Is it up yet? Oh, this is the wrong... This is wrong. I was like, is it up yet? No, it is not. Someone's gonna have this stupid link, bro. Like, why y'all have this premiere up, bro? I'm just losing my mind. I'm just losing my mind, bro. But pretty much, if we go more of this kind of like, you put the collabs in the main set, but they're not like taking over everything, you know, I think that's fine. And I think if you want to support stuff like Togerambu onwards, that's fine too. And main Busha says again, Togerambu is pretty much like an unofficial clan. Now, what you're gonna do for like supporting other like decks like regular Ragnarok or Monster Strike going forward, that is a whole different thing. Or even Shaman King, that's gonna be a whole different like beast that, you know, we'll get there when we get there. So let's keep going.
Manga promo, I believe, and I was like, damn, it's a manga promo. We're never getting it. English is gonna have to wait 5 years, and then it'll suck ass. I'm so sad because this promo is really cool. I love Stoikea, as you know. I love Great Nature. I love Granblue.
Yeah,
I'm fine with Aqua Force, so it would have been really cool to have this card, but we're never getting it. And then they went, hey, we made it a sneak preview promo. Instantly, we get it. That's really awesome. Big fan of that. I hope that whenever they make promos in Japan, we can just get them instantly and easily as well, which once again brings us to another thing that I'm a bit meh about, and that's the promo issue. We so often see a deck coming out in a main set going, oh, this is kind of weak, and then they finally get like that crucial promo that makes the deck really good, and it's a promo, so it's hard to get, or we might not get it in time, and it's just like, ugh. It's really funny actually that for the BCS entry promo, we get a Claret Sword promo that makes that deck playable in V like 3 years ago or something like that. So just less of good cards in promos, and if we get them in promos, give us them instantly. Like, again, in their defense, they just did. Like, we know they can do it. They've kind of been getting better at this as well. So big ups to that, but of course, the less crucial promos, the better.
Yeah. I mean, we've all said it. I've said it before multiple times. Like, yeah, promos. The promo situation in the West, more specifically, is very dire. Like, it is like, why are there so many, like, why are there so many, like, just so many promos that are effectively like so necessary? Now there's some cards that like really like good, but like you have cards that straight up literally like change the whole deck. And it's not as if like, oh, it's been a while, these decks haven't really gotten like general support, you know, whatnot. But we're talking about like the Ava promo, where literally the deck could not function without it. It single-handedly turned that deck actually playable. And instead, it's just like everything. And it was like so weird. Now, granted, it was a locals promo, which, you know, just go to locals and pray you open up fantastically. But, you know, outside of that, it's kind of like, yeah. As for everything else, like the manga promos and whatnot, the what you call it, the monthly Bushiroad promos, like that needs a different system. I would love, and this might be just kind of selfish, I would love like a set that is very similar to like Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's just like a bunch of imports and reprints. Just one set that just does that, right? You just have a set that just straight up like gets all these new cards technically into the actual like format by like actual products or whatnot, and then you also like dive in with like reprints of cards that have just released a year, existed within like a year ago or something. You just reprint them and actually have them in different rarities or whatnot, and just you have those, right? That'd be such a great idea. You know, obviously, like, it's usually one of those sets that doesn't really spend money, but I mean, that people don't really spend money on. They're just like, all right, wait for everybody to kind of like buy the vendors, and then you just like buy your singles, right? But like those are still really good. But
Final thing I'm really loving about Overdress is the Luard and the Shiranui deck set. Now, of course, we don't really know what they're going to be doing just yet, but just the fact that they are keeping striding a thing in Overdress, but without forcing you to stride, like there's plenty of other good decks, is really cool. I really love the stride mechanic, and it's also, indirectly, oddly, more premium support. By making these GB-based cards, and, of course, the strides themselves, and cards that need to work together with those stride-bearing cards, you're automatically having more premium ready cards. You also have that grade 1 that gets the crest, and now you can start thinking like, ooh, do I want to run this crest card or not? Overall, big fan of that. And beyond that, it's like nostalgia baiting without making it over the top. 80 or 90% of your support is still just Overdress cards, and then you just have a little bit of, here's a little stride goodness. I like that. Then there's V.
Alright, before we go there, because I got a lot to say about what Psalm says there. Yeah, I've come around to more the stride deck sets. Well, I've never had a problem with stride deck sets. Mostly just thought of like late game scaling goes out of insanity. I think the two we've had, I think the real thing was Jet, and that's mostly because Dark States just has a lot of generics that can kind of just like work on its own. Whereas, so like Jet had like this one thing that like none of the other stride deck sets probably won't have unless something happens when the next the next few months up to its release, which is none of those nations have the large amount of like generic cards that Dark States has, right? Because like the reason why like the Jet stride deck set was crazy because it has GG. It had, I mean, not GG, but more so Gunga Ram, Swirler. You have all these other like cards that just the Dark States has. It just like works early game, right? You can have a early game rush, which is the antithesis of whatever the heck a G was for that point, right? So it's like it got rid of all of its problems just off rip by not having that, you know. So that's the thing. As for is this thing existing? Nope. Like, come on, where's this? Live? Nope. Well, this banner's gonna change. Yeah, come on, bro. Like, where's the premiere? I'm actually kind of upset that there's no like premiere of it. Like, where's the premiere, bro? This is crazy.
Like the V
We're
promos,
4 minutes
because
away.
some of them are good in premium. And that's it. I'm sorry. I'm done with V. I feel nothing when playing it. It's been the same for a century. I think the format should stop being supported at the BCS level so that you always have standard on one day and premium on the other. We've noticed that it's very hard to run it otherwise, and there has been no support announced once again. So I'm just done. Can it? We topped V this season as well. You know, I had my fun with Leopold, but that's kind of it. You can keep it alive at the local level, of course. I'm not telling you to just get rid of it completely. It can kind of be like Commander. In Magic the Gathering, Commander is not a main format. You're not gonna have your whatever modern version of the Pro Tour is for Commander. A lot of people still like Commander. It's just that, oh, if you're going to a major event, you're gonna be playing Constructed or Draft or something like that. Then, Premium.
So, okay. I have no clue what Ketter's pool is for lore. I thought should ask both Great Foreign and Best Harvest. So, if we're talking about standard, I mean, obviously it's standard because, like, you know, theoretically it's like, why hasn't Shiranui seen anything in premium? But it's also like, there's a lot of things with that. So, as for Shiranui have access to both Great Forebrand and Best Harvest. Technically, it's already had it in premium, but if we're talking about in standard, I don't know, because I think that's kind of the big question. it will depend on what they give the strides, because the 2 strides are going to kind of determine that. If Mukuro works pretty much the same, then that is going to be insane. But if it's more so akin to, like, you'd actually kind of changed how Dominate works, because they changed literally how Lock works. So it's like, if they changed how Dominate works, then it might be okay, but I don't know. And that's kind of the question. So that's also a thing. But also, I'm still like over 2 minutes away. But as for V, I reluctantly agree with him about, like, at this point, like, taking off the BCS level, because it's just going to be a mess, right? Even if Shadow's Brawl was its own separate, like, thing right now, you know, eventually you might consider combining them all together. But right now, it's just not. Right now, it's just like, with the current state of things, of like, V isn't like. I don't think V is boring. I think V has kind of been, like, left in a wayside, because so many people just never really tried these decks. Because why would you, when Intrana and Gear Chronicle is in the format, when you have Luard in the format, we have all these old decks that are really strong. Like, I really do think that, like, there's some really cool stuff in those clan collections that really just excuse me, that those clan collections that just never really got played at, because there's so many, like, decks so stronger, or directly. Yep. Wait a second. It's time. Where the heck is it? Bro, are y'all serious? Okay, there is no video. Hold on, let me. Yo, Matt, you there? You good? You good, bro? You good over there, fam? Alright. Yeah. This is the tweets there. We ain't got nothing, bruh. It's 9 p.m. PDT. I'm correct, right? 9 p.m. PDT. Yeah, it would be 11, so it's right now. So unless I'm missing something. We see. Okay, so I'm looking at Orange's stream. Yeah, they're just doing reactions. She's just watching the vibe, but it's like that. But for where's this video? I guess I'll just keep talking about the video while I wait for the actual loading. So back on V. V is just in this state of I don't know what they plan to do with V. And that is the worrying thing, because it is the same feeling I've had, and I've talked about this before, it's the same feeling I've had with Vanguard Zero, where it's like, it feels like we've gotten nothing. So, they're playing hide and seek with the conference. We have to go find the conference ourselves. But pretty much it's like, so it's like, you know, when you have silence speaks volumes, right? So having no knowledge of what's going on, like, yeah, sure, you reprinted VRs, but you didn't reprint all of them. And like, yeah, cool, you reprinted these VRs, but like, you got some more coming soon. Like, I would have liked you probably. I could get the idea of the history collections to like retrain like the old G stuff somewhat to kind of like be relevant in today's time, but strike deck sets are gonna do that, eventually if you actually plan on like doing all those. But also, what I'm trying to say. But also, like, I would have loved if you just reprinted both of them in the whole thing. I think you could have just actually done that. What? Are you kidding me? Oh no! Wait, why is it on the Shadowverse so long? As later technical difficulties, July 6th at 11. That's 1 o'clock. I need to go. How? What do you mean? This is insane. Oh, and then you give me a YouTube link that didn't work. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I got, bro. I was like, okay with this. Hey. So also, what do you have technical difficulties for? What do you have technical difficulties for? For a gosh that it's pre-recorded, isn't it? Unless like they were actually like going to straight up like drop it, right? It's basically a premiere. It's literally a premiere, right? Premieres in the form 14 minutes. Like how did it's a premiere. It's not even a full video. Oh my goodness, bro. Like how did you like it's a video, you upload it, you give you a time, and then you move the heck, and then you have it set up and you're good. So that means either something's wrong with the video or it's taking too long to upload. Which in this case, the question is, why was it not uploaded before? Like, did you just finish recording it? I shouldn't be upset that, this whole thing, but it's still like, come on, y'all. This is actually insane. Yes, 2 hours. Delayed by 2 hours for a video, so that means this thing has not been uploaded. Oh, that's partially demoralizing too. I was not expecting to actually be around for like 2 hours. Also, it's like delaying sets, delaying premieres. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm kind of like questioning. Okay. Like I'm like, did y'all just get back in the office? What happened? Like the only way I see this is like you quite literally. Don't tell me like the. Oh. Yes, it appears 2 hours. The problem is the original date was literally right now. Yeah, Ed. That's the whole thing. It's like it's supposed to be now. I'm missing MHQ for this. I missed it. Wait, did they drop the trailer? No. Okay, so. Alright, well. You know what? I guess what we're gonna do is I'm gonna like finish off this like. I get, you know what? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna reconvene. Yeah, I just saw. I'm like, dang, bro. Oh man, at least I have something to listen to tomorrow. That's cool for work. All right, so I guess what I'm gonna do is probably kind of call this stream here, and then we're gonna reconvene back in like reconvene by like 20 minutes before it starts. Hopefully we're actually on time. So yeah, thank y'all so much for coming out. So far I think everything's good. So I think things worked. So you know, everything's good. So I will see y'all in an hour and 40 minutes. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.